You want a successful life, great. You want the car, the freedom, the respect, the power. Perfect. But let me break something to you straight. None of that is free. Every bit of success you admire, someone paid for it. Not with money, not with luck. With discipline, with sacrifice, with late nights, early mornings, and saying no to every easy distraction that comes disguised as comfort. Discipline is the tax you pay today so you don't live broke, mentally, physically, financially, tomorrow. It's the fee that separates the winners from the average, not talent. Not intelligence, just discipline. Most people sell their future for cheap, extra sleep, junk food, Netflix, mindless scrolling. And they wonder why they're miserable. Because they're dodging the tax. And when you dodge the tax, you pay interest. That interest is regret. Every time you choose comfort over progress, you're voting against your own future. You're literally saying, I'm not worth the effort. You think that's harsh? Good. Because the truth is harsh, and the world doesn't care how you feel. It only rewards what you do. Discipline is brutal at first, no doubt. It hurts. It's lonely. It demands. But that pain you feel when you push yourself, that's the price. That's the toll booth on the highway to everything you ever wanted. You either pay it now or get charged with a life you hate later. So get up earlier. Train harder. Focus longer. Say no more. Because every time you choose discipline, you buy a piece of your freedom. And that's a price worth paying. Let the weak whine. Let the lazy make excuses. You pay the tax. You earn the reward. Because discipline isn't punishment. It's the key to power. People walk around talking about what they want all day long. I want to be rich. I want to be successful. I want freedom. It's all talk. They think wanting something is enough. But life doesn't hand out rewards for wishes. There's a gate, a locked door standing between you and the life you think you deserve. And that gate doesn't open with dreams, hope, or fake positivity. It opens with discipline. That's the key. Discipline is what separates the people who talk from the people who actually get it done. It's not motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It fades. It's a feeling, and feelings are weak. Discipline isn't about how you feel. It's about what you do regardless of how you feel. It's about getting up when you're tired, working when you're uninspired, showing up when no one's watching. That's what makes someone dangerous. That's what makes someone unstoppable. You can have the best ideas in the world, the greatest potential, all the talent, but if you can't control yourself, none of that matters. Because every dream, every goal, every vision you've ever had will cost you something. Not just time, not just effort, but pain. Discipline is how you handle that pain without complaining. It's how you keep going even when your body, your mind, everything inside you is telling you to quit. Look around. Most people are stuck, miserable, broke, weak. Why? Because they chose comfort over control. They refused to pay the price. They thought they could shortcut the process. But here's the truth, there is no shortcut. There is no cheat code. There is only the grind. Only the discipline to do the hard thing every single day, especially when you don't feel like it. The reason people fail isn't because they don't want it. It's because they aren't willing to pay for it. And the price is simple discipline. It's waking up before the sun and doing what you said you'd do. It's staying consistent when results are slow. It's doing the boring reps. Eating clean when everyone else is eating garbage. Studying while others party. Saying no to the easy route. That's the price. And most aren't willing to pay it. That's why they stay behind the gate. Locked out of the life they talk about. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not sexy. It doesn't give you quick wins or applause. But it guarantees that over time, you will dominate. Not because you're better, but because you're consistent, focused, ruthless with your time. That's how you win in a world full of soft, distracted people who can't go 2 days without falling off. You don't rise by accident. You rise because you decide to live a different standard. And that standard is discipline. You earn it daily, with action, with sacrifice, with unbreakable intent. Because everything you want, respect, wealth, strength, freedom, is on the other side of that gate. And there's only one way in. Discipline holds the key. Everyone wants success, but no one wants to pay the price. That's the joke. People think success is a one-time decision, like it's something you can buy off a shelf. They look at those who've made it and assume it happened because of a lucky break or some unfair advantage. But the truth is far more brutal. Success is expensive, and it demands that you pay every single day with your time, your energy, your focus, your comfort, and your old habits. There's no weekend sale on success, no coupons, no discounts. Every inch of progress you want comes with a cost, and that cost is consistency over convenience. It's not about grinding once in a while when you feel pumped. It's about showing up every day, whether you feel like it or not, and making the right choices over and over until success has no choice but to show up. Most people want the rewards, but they hate the work. They want the six-pack, but not the diet. They want the money, but not the long hours and relentless discipline. They want the lifestyle, but not the grind behind it. And that's why they stay stuck, because they refuse to pay in full. They think success can be rented, but success doesn't do rentals. It's not Airbnb. It's ownership only. You either own your grind or you don't deserve the results. The hard truth is this: if you don't make discipline a daily payment, life will bill you later with regret. And that invoice is always heavier. That's the trade-off. You either suffer now for what you want or suffer later for what you didn't do. There's no escape from that equation. You get to choose your pain, the pain of effort or the pain of failure. But either way, you will pay. Successful people aren't superhuman. They just learned one thing most people haven't, that the price of greatness must be paid in full, daily, and without complaint. They trained themselves to embrace routine, structure, and repetition. They made discipline a lifestyle, not a temporary fix. Because they understood early on that success is earned, not wished into existence. You're not going to hit your goals by accident. It's not going to happen just because you want it badly. Wanting is not enough. Hoping is useless. The world doesn't reward intentions. It rewards execution. And execution happens only when you wake up every day and decide to do the hard things no matter what. There will be days you're tired, days you're discouraged, days it feels like nothing's working. But those are the days that test if you're serious. Those are the days most people quit, and those are the days that create separation. Because success notices who keeps going and who folds. And it only opens its doors to those who've earned the right to walk through. You don't get paid for what you plan. You get paid for what you consistently do. And if you're not willing to pay the daily cost, if you keep looking for shortcuts, easy outs, or ways to avoid the grind, then success will remain out of reach. Not because you couldn't get there, but because you were too soft to make the payments. So remember, every single day is a bill and your future is collecting. The question is, are you paying with discipline today? Or will you pay with regret tomorrow? Comfort is the most dangerous trap in the world, and the worst part is, most people don't even see it. They chase it, worship it, structure their entire lives around avoiding discomfort. They think comfort equals happiness. But that's the lie. That's the scam. Because comfort is not freedom. Comfort is a prison wrapped in soft blankets. It's slow poison dressed up as peace. It feels good now, but it steals everything from you later. Your ambition, your edge, your potential, your future. Look around. Most people live lives of quiet frustration, not because they lack talent or intelligence, but because they got too comfortable too early. They settled. They chose easy. They stopped stretching themselves the moment things got hard. They accepted average and convinced themselves it was okay. That's what comfort does. It whispers, you're doing fine, when deep down, you know you're capable of more. It tells you, rest, relax, you've earned it, when in reality, haven't even started. Comfort is the ultimate thief. It doesn't rob you overnight. It steals from you slowly. It takes your time, your energy, your drive, piece by piece. One skipped workout, one delayed goal, one more episode, one more excuse. And before you know it, the fire inside you dies out. Not because someone killed it, but because you smothered it with comfort. People spend their best years chasing soft living. Easy jobs, predictable routines, mindless entertainment, they avoid risk, avoid pain, avoid challenge. But what they don't realize is that in avoiding those things, they also avoid growth. Because nothing great ever comes from comfort. Greatness is forged in pressure, in discomfort, in challenge. That's where character is built. That's where transformation happens. You don't grow by staying where it's easy. You grow by going where it's hard. You want strength. Go through pain. You want discipline. Face resistance. You want real confidence. Earn it by doing the things that scare you. That's the formula. But comfort won't let you. Comfort will tell you that hard work is dangerous, that ambition is too risky, that failure is something to fear. And if you listen, you'll rot. Slowly. Silently. The problem is people are addicted to feeling good now. They chase dopamine like slaves. Their lives revolve around pleasure. Scrolling, snacking, binge watching, sleeping in. And they don't even realize it's destroying their future. Because every time you choose comfort over growth, you weaken your will. Every time you give in to laziness, you train yourself to lose. Every time you avoid discomfort, you move further away from the life you say you want. Real power comes from rejecting comfort, from embracing the hard path, from saying no to what's easy so you can say yes to what's worth it. The strongest, most disciplined people you admire got there by doing what others wouldn't. They weren't special. They just refused to settle. They chose purpose over pleasure, mission over ease. And now they live a life most people only dream about. So if your life feels stuck, if you're not where you want to be, don't look at the world. Don't blame circumstances. Look at how many times you chose comfort over action. Look at how many times you made the soft choice and convinced yourself it was okay. That's where your future is being decided. Not in big moments, in small ones, in daily decisions, in silent compromises. Comfort may feel good now, but it will cost you everything later. Success doesn't come to the comfortable. It comes to the committed, the focused, the ones who can say, screw how I feel, I'll do it anyway. That's what separates the strong from the soft. So stop worshiping comfort. Burn it. Walk away from it. Train yourself to thrive in discomfort. Because on the other side of that pain is everything you've ever wanted. And the longer you stay comfortable, the longer you'll stay average. People massively overestimate what they can do in a week and wildly underestimate what they can do in a year of solid discipline. They think if they don't make a giant leap overnight, it's pointless. That's why they quit. They don't understand the game. The truth is, success isn't built from big, flashy moments. It's built from thousands of small, quiet acts of discipline that stack over time. Every rep in the gym, every early morning, every skip party, every no to distraction. These aren't random. They are bricks. You lay them down daily, and one day, you look around and realize you've built something powerful, unshakable, and respected. Most people never get there because they get bored. They want results now. They want the six-figure income, the shredded body, the respect, the lifestyle. But they don't want the years of invisible work. They don't want the silence of progress. But that silence is where the real ones are forged. The disciplined ones. The ones who understand that compound discipline is the cheat code. Every time you choose to do the right thing, when no one is watching, you build internal strength. Every time you say not today to a bad habit, you train your brain to obey you, not your feelings. Every early morning you force yourself up. Every late night you stay focused. Every moment you stay consistent. These are micro wins. They're tiny victories, but they add up. One at a time, they build momentum. And momentum, once built, is unstoppable. People will look at you years later and say, "You're lucky." They'll say, "It must be nice." But they didn't see the 500 a.m. wake-ups. They didn't see the sacrifices. They didn't see the daily grind when no one cared, when no one clapped, when there was no reward. That's the truth. They can't handle the life they envy is built in the dark. And the tool used to build it is consistency. Success is not a lottery. It's a ledger. Every disciplined action is a deposit into your future. The problem is, Most people are withdrawing more than they deposit. They skip the hard stuff. They delay what matters. They binge comfort and spend their time like amateurs. And then they wonder why their life doesn't change. It doesn't change because they don't change. Their habits stay the same. Their mindset stays soft. They want the reward, but they're not making the payments. If you want a life that stands out, do what most people aren't willing to do. Lock in on your habits. Track your progress. Be ruthless with your time. Be obsessed with the process. Because the process is where all the power is. It's not sexy. It's not dramatic. But it's undefeated. And here's the part most will never get: the more disciplined you become, the more freedom you earn. People think discipline is restriction. That's the biggest lie. Discipline is liberation. It gives you control. It gives you options. It gives you power. While everyone else is ruled by cravings, laziness, and distractions, you're in command. You call the shots. You shape your life deliberately. So ask yourself, what kind of future do you want to live in? One built by randomness, excuses, and shortcuts, or one crafted by intention, structure, and discipline? Because the answer shows up in your daily actions. Every day you're voting for your future with your choices. And every small disciplined action is a vote for greatness. Eventually, those votes stack, they compound. And then one day, everyone sees what you built and calls it success. But you'll know what it really was. Just you showing up, doing the work, paying the price. Quietly, relentlessly, repeatedly. Until your discipline turned into a life others dream of. Excuses are nothing but polished lies you tell yourself to feel better about not doing what you know damn well you should have done. You dress them up as reasons. You make them sound logical. You think they're valid. But deep down, you know the truth. You know you're lying to yourself. You know you're masking weakness behind words. And the more you do it, the more normal it becomes. It turns into a habit, a pattern, a lifestyle. And eventually, that excuse-filled mindset robs you of everything you could have been. It starts small. I'm tired. I'll start tomorrow. I had a long day. But then it grows. I'm not ready yet. The timing's not right. It's just not possible for someone like me. These aren't facts. They're weapons of mediocrity. They're the stories you write to keep yourself soft, to avoid discomfort, to escape accountability. You sell yourself on why quitting is acceptable, why missing that workout was okay, why procrastinating your dreams somehow made sense. But the truth is, you're just scared. Scared of the pain, scared of the effort, scared of what it takes to actually become exceptional. So instead of stepping up, you shrink. And instead of admitting it, you build an entire narrative to protect your ego. You don't need a better plan. You don't need motivation. You don't need the perfect time. You need to kill your excuses. You need to declare war on them. Because every time you choose an excuse over execution, you weaken yourself. You send a signal to your brain that says, it's okay to lose. And once your brain accepts that, it becomes your identity. You start to live like someone who always falls short. You stop even trying. You normalize failure. You embrace it, not because it's noble, but because you've gotten comfortable failing. Successful people aren't excused, free because their lives are easier. In fact, they usually deal with more pressure, more risk, and more chaos. But they've trained themselves to look at reality and say, so what? They've removed the emotional safety net. They don't need everything to be perfect. They don't cry about obstacles. They execute anyway, because they've accepted one brutal truth: life doesn't care. The world doesn't owe you a single thing. So you either step up and take control, or you make excuses and stay broke, broken, and bitter. You want change. Stop selling yourself lies. Stop justifying weakness. Stop protecting your laziness with soft language. Call it what it is. You didn't wake up early because you were undisciplined. You skipped the gym because you were weak. You didn't start the business because you were scared. And until you own that, fully, brutally, you'll keep spinning in circles, wondering why your life never moves forward. Excuses feel good in the moment. They let you escape guilt. But they cost you everything later. They cost you pride. They cost you power. They cost you progress. And eventually they cost you your identity. Because you stop seeing yourself as someone who can win. You become the guy who could have, the girl who almost did. That's not a life, that's regret in slow motion. So stop talking, stop rationalizing, stop playing the victim. You're not stuck, you're just full of excuses. You know what needs to be done? You just need to do it with force, with consistency, with zero tolerance for weakness. Because once you commit to that standard, everything changes. You become dangerous. You become dependable. You become someone your past self would admire. Every time you feel an excuse forming in your mind, crush it. Replace it with action, discipline, results. Because the life you want isn't waiting for your perfect mood or ideal conditions. It's waiting for you to finally stop lying to yourself and start doing what needs to be done. Every single day, no matter how you feel. In the moment, discipline doesn't feel glamorous. It feels like resistance. It feels like pain. Like doing things you don't want to do when your entire body is begging for comfort. Waking up before the sun. Training when your muscles ache. Studying when your brain is fried. Saying no to the party. Saying yes to the grind. Discipline doesn't feel good. It feels like a war between who you are now and who you're trying to become. And most people lose that war every single day because they want the result without the suffering. But here's what they miss. The pain of discipline isn't punishment. It's payment. It's the upfront cost of power, strength, and freedom. You're not suffering for no reason. You're investing in your future self. You're stacking reps in silence while everyone else is sleeping, scrolling, or slacking. You're preparing yourself for a life they'll never touch because they refuse to do what you were willing to suffer through. People hate discipline because it doesn't pay instantly. That's the trap. You don't get applause for saying no to junk food. You don't get a standing ovation for choosing work over entertainment. There's no dopamine hit for doing what's right. That's why the weak fall off. They chase feelings instead of results. But the strong, they understand that discipline is a slow grind with a massive payout. They embrace the pain now because they've seen what it buys later: control, dominance, options, confidence. Pain itself isn't the problem. Everyone suffers. The broke suffer. The rich suffer. The weak suffer. The strong suffer. But only disciplined people choose what kind of pain they want. You either feel the pain of discipline now or the pain of regret later. And regret is the most brutal pain of all because it lasts. You can recover from a hard workout. You can push through a tough week. But try living with the knowledge that you had potential and didn't use it. That you had chances and ignored them. That you had time and wasted it. That's a prison most never escape. Every time you choose discipline, you sharpen your weapon. You reinforce your standard. You remind yourself that you're in control. And the more you do that, the less power your emotions have over you. You stop negotiating with your feelings. You stop waiting for motivation. You become someone who shows up because it's non-negotiable. And once you hit that level, life bends to your will. Discipline is the most brutal teacher, but it's also the most honest one. It doesn't lie to you. It doesn't coddle you. It exposes your flaws, your limits, your excuses. And that's what makes it priceless. Because once you submit to it, once you accept the pain and lean into it, you unlock power. Not just physical power, but mental power, emotional power, spiritual power. The kind that radiates through your presence. The kind that people feel before you even speak. And when that discipline compounds, it turns into momentum. That momentum turns into identity. That identity turns into results. And those results, they don't just change your life. They change the way people treat you, the way you walk into rooms, the way opportunities show up, the way you respond to chaos. Because now you're not hoping for things to get easier. You've made yourself stronger. So the next time discipline hurts, good. Let it hurt. That's the signal you're doing it right. That's the weight you need to carry if you ever want to lift more than average. Most will run from the pain. You won't. You'll use it. You'll bleed now so you never have to beg later, because discipline may feel like pain today. But in time, It will hand you power that most people only dream of.